Oh, ma-joke na ako siya na musabay mo siya sa kuha. Pero sa ko okay ra, sige sa'yo mo, artihan siya kasi pero sa ko okay naman. Dugay siya, di mo close. Dong, hinay daw dong, nako istorya dong. Kung ba natin, nag-ano siya,
Nag-live din, nag-live.
Naglaban naman siya gahapon. Niya among nangkakaw lagi na nga dumidudunggo. Katuanan kaya among nila magprating basa ate. Pulo-pulo gud. Dili kay naabtan og ulan. Unya. Pag-abot na mo dali prating usugay besa ulan. Iya kung gibuklas. Nagtulok-tulok. Lift that anthem, your Savior lays in a manger and humble for your King is born. Dapat karon kay tingtog na karon magpa-inject lagi. Wow, magtambi ko po. Magpaano oy, mapa-inject lagi na ba? Wala ra. Biglonon ang gugulawas di oy. Biglonon gugulawas di na beretin. Biglonon gugulawas. Ikaw magipila ba tayo no? Dextus, bugay ko sa una, may tagina na lang.
Bisa sa lusa.
Video di atin no. Oh, Prince of Heaven, we worship.
I can hit you and let you die in a mile away.
King of glory, we gladly agree. Born in wonder,
One shot, one kill.
and ever worthy.
Where do you think you're
The
going?
earth will sing. Oh, Prince of Heaven, we
One shot, one kill. You're going.
Confess our
Ally has been
sin.
slain.
Lay our burden
Dapat lang.
at Jesus' feet, and with gladness
I can hit you and let you die in a mile away.
hail the Prince of Heaven. Sound it for this baby right in a would have brought it in this
I can hit you and let you die in a mile away.
heaven. Jesus, hope
Our turret is under attack.
Brooke and Mikey, good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Thanks for sitting down and sharing this song with us. A song called Prince of Heaven. And this is from the Peace Project, it's the name of the album. And there's a concept behind this, had some thoughts that we were talking about. Share a little bit about just the idea of that concept as you guys are developing this album.
We really liked the idea of, we were really passionate about the idea, not just liked it, about Christmas music being also worship. The opportunity for us to make peace with Jesus is crazy. But the whole idea came about when we were talking about Christmas and the whole premise being that Christmas is a peace project. Being God sent His Son again to make a way for us to make peace with Him, and the idea that now as a church we inherit that responsibility. We are
And Mike, you work production yourself. This music, it feels like a worship expression. You know, and music sometimes takes a moment. Going into this, what was your concept there? What were you really preparing to go after when you produced it?
Ben Tan, he also worked on this album as well. We sat down and started talking about like what should it sound like should it have Christmas music. We actually sat down and listened to like 8 hours worth of Christmas music, and then we were like, what should it sound like? And the thing that we agreed on is that just feel like worship, because that's what we do. That's kind of the thing is not really good at stuff that we're referencing, like can we actually do this stuff, and we just felt like we're trying to make it as honest, like it's centered around the birth of Christ, and yeah, so it was pretty exciting. And so the concept of trying to have strings, like so we hired a guy that would put the strings together, and he would say, you know, here's a crazy concept, what do you guys think? And so we would work with that, and that was a new thing for us, and that kind of gave another expression to it. And then there's like a choir on every song. It was a really fun album.
Through that a little bit, we were talking about what the song says, because it starts off obviously it's talking about Jesus and this irony of this baby that came to save all of mankind. But my favorite part of the lyric is that 4th verse where it really, and just thinking about this time of year where people are showing up in church that maybe haven't ever been in a long time. Hearing church sing this invitation come and know Him as the Prince of Peace. I'll walk through that lyric and how you guys fleshed out these ideas.
I think it happened pretty naturally. You know, in church life and in kingdom life, there are all these principles we learn and these things we learn about the character of God and about the great story of the gospel. Those things we learn, they haven't our way. There have been people, you know, in Christmas services singing all these traditional songs of generation. But then there also being a point in the service where people go, oh, okay, all of these things that I'm singing, this is the action point for me now. This is what it actually means. It's invitational. All of the context that I've been learning about in the birth of Christ applies to me here today, and this is where I can step into the story myself. Yeah,
it's amazing. Mikey, walk us through chord-wise what you're playing. You're in the key of F. You were saying the recording is actually F sharp.
Brooke would have it in the lowest key possible.
I would have it in C if I could.
So the verse, rather than making it the 4 chord, I've just kind of like made it the sus. So
Remember juga ng pangalan niya tayo, mana kung kuan niya. Aba, kung buhat ng baldumo ko ko. Hindi ta to mabla oy, ganahan ko sa ato. Yan ang ba isang mahali ng paniton mo niya batasan lagi yan.
Revolving around the sus and the natural, I guess is kind of the main concept for it.
Your team destroyed a turret.
The chorus goes to the 4 chord, so pretty much capo the guitar to make this chord work. Just sounds nice and happy. Which is just it's a F chord without the middle finger.
Wala na siya anak niya. Ako niya akong mga last. Ako meron may namalit niya ako nang mga trabaho anak ko rin mamalit.
Simple chords.
It is really simple. It's actually like melodically, it's you forget people to call
Dili ni
especially for
Pero dili gyud iya kwarta ko, ang gining kwarta hinabuan ako. Ako pa magpalit sa ikin. Paitan ako siya bati, paitan ako siya bukas. Ang mga anak ay palitan na ko. Siyempre siya sa mga anak ay paitan na wala sa mga bata. Ako pa siya ipalitan eh. Bata kay kabuli siya malap gina ko mga anak nung siya may pa mga bata ginapalitan ng mga alas kuya siya sa mga anak ibu ay kabala ka kapalitan ti ka mo to gipalitan ko na ko siya giyahati kung kwarta palitan ako siya
like frost on a rose. Winter comes for us all. Oh, how nature acquaints us with the nature of patience, like a seed in the
pwede dede kuban kani daw ko puhon wala sa akong anak ba ila pong hulog ti anak akong anak akong pabuhatan akong anak batong tulo buhatan ako alahas
from sea to sequoia. I know though the winter's long, even richer the harvest it brings, and though my waiting prolongs, even greater.
kanang kuan ti pa pang bata bitaw te kuyog ra ta dito na kay kuan na kay kata sige po sa talaan i-text lang te ka ha basta kuan kay palitan ako kung tulo na bigalas te puto kay ipalitan ako sa sauna te giputol
And as I gaze, I am blinded.
lagi ako lang malugulugan ba or kuan basta may impas lang na ako
Like a fire to
kuyugay na ako te ha hindi ano ha para sa kong anak patungkol oh
melt the eyes of this white soul till the barren is beautiful, and
ay may mana ako te mahilig ba ko kalastik kay pag-invest na kung bakit kwarta pwede man mo na ibalik yan
even richer the harvest it brings, and though my
Sulti pa niyo.
waiting prolongs, even
kung mahilig mo kalas malig tayo kalas ang agin ako te ano nga balik yan sa kung abiga sa kwan ba di sa FB na ako magkuha kay lahat pero sa mga
my season will come.
okay raman dagan man kung amiga nga na ano kuan man gyud okay man mga sikat kuan ba na dagan ako amiga
I can see the promise, I can see the future. You're the God of seasons,
dili ko ng
I'm
sound
just in the winter. If all I know of harvest is that it's worth my patience, then if you're not done working,
taas man siya okay taas siya okay ang
you
Korean
can see my promise
mahal po sa Pinas
in the winter. 'Cause you're the God of
napay irin sa unang ate nga baga kay to ba
manger.
18 ka ng channel bitaw at tagibaligyan sa Pinas nga so ato niya 24,000 te 24,000 nga ang katungkuan ang inang ka nga ang iris gani nga gidawat mga ni og 6,000 channel ka kan kaya last mi ko na ako niguling Pinas ang buong kabata ipabaligyan ako kaya nga last ang agin ako sayangan ko pero wate mahing
I believe the night season will come, and when I finally see my tree, still I believe there's a season to come. Like a seed you sow for the sake of us all, from Bethlehem soil. Calvary Sequoia. Oh.
Barato kay ang ano ti, uy, barato. Di, barato ang alahas karon ate, barato kaayo. Taro ko daw.
Hello
Barato
there,
ang
I'm
alahas.
Gabriel Kelly, one of the team here at Hillsong Church, and thank you for joining us for New Song Cafe on
Diri
worshiptogether.com.
ni mo no mahal kay
We're really excited today to be
mahal
talking to
nga
Ben
kuan,
Hastings, one
alahas,
of the writers on the song
baligya di mo
Seasons
sa kanang
from
mga
the
kuan
new
diri.
Hillsong Christmas
Alahas
album,
ba
The Peace
baligya di
Project.
mo kay barato
It's
na
great to
kaayo.
also have Nigel and Autumn here with us today. Guys, nice to see you.
Barato kay lang alahas diri uy.
Thank you for coming along.
Balik ka
You all
og
look
kuanti sa
fantastic.
shipmanon te. Hala,
Benny, I love this
naara
song
sa
that you
mga
and the guys have
shipmanon.
written. I feel
Dili,
like even the
tunga ra nila
arrangement
mo
that you've
sting
kind of
sila
brought for us
mo
today is
buang
really
sila
lovely,
mahal
and I
baya
think
ang
it's
ala.
a really
Mga
special
papalit
song.
ni
Can you
mo
tell us
di
a
ka
little bit about how it came about?
Yeah, absolutely. This song kind of came together really organically, actually, and I think it's because a lot of the concepts I've just sort of been bubbling around
Wala,
in my
di,
mind for a long time.
tingga
Coming
maya.
out in conversations with Chris,
Raso nga amiga ba?
one of the other writers
Balit
of
na siya.
the band, as well.
Di pa.
So we sat down to
Ipalit
write
daw
it,
siya
and
og
all of it
kuan.
started falling together.
Ang pikmanon
kind of
nato
really
yung palit
organically,
siyang
the
alahas.
chorus
Kay
bit,
iya
kind
daw
of all
gibaligya
came
sa
out as we
kanang
were playing.
nagbuhatay diri
I
gold
think,
ate.
if you think about
Ala.
God, the
Gikatunga daw,
God
ingon
is
siya
so
adi
alive.
dala nako.
We can do whatever we
Gikatunga
want
iyang
at any
pikmanon
moment.
kay wala bela na to sa
Fulfill all
pikmanon
the
sa
purposes
dawhat.
of that.
Siya ayan na lang oh.
He takes his time. There's a lyric in the bridge of the song that says, "You could have saved us in a second. Instead, you sent a child." I think Jesus is the perfect example of that. How God is so okay with playing the long game, like sending a baby in order to fulfill a plan that would initiate 30-something years later and then roll out
Niyon
even
lagi
to
siya nga.
today.
Mahal barato na kaya baligya.
and, yeah,
Yung
there's so much
iya
in
mo di
that.
balik
I
daw
think
siya
so
ti
as well.
wala.
You already highlighted lyrically, I feel like it's really, really well thought out, really well developed themes, which I think you guys have done a great job on. One of my favorite lines is the one that mentions from seed to sequoia.
Asa di
Can you
ka?
tell us a little bit about that quickly?
Yeah, that I was actually
Karon
so
ba
pretty
asa di ka
about
naka sa
that.
balay? Naka sa balay
Sequoias,
karon?
I don't even know where I learned the word. I think we did a family trip to Yosemite a few years back.
O
and
di
there
trabaho
was
yung bana
beautiful
te.
big
Ay
giant
trabaho yung bana?
the biggest trees, I think the biggest trees in the world, and they live up to 3,000 years, 3,000 years old, which is crazy. Like some of these trees
Ah,
are
yeah,
taking
di
about
nang trabaho sa
260.
Puerto Domingo. Kung na siya Sabado pero may wala dyan
We were
trabaho.
riding out the back of conference in this riding room, and this line kind of landed, and we were so pumped at the time. I was like, "This is the best thing that's ever happened." And one of our creative directors, Josh Benet, walked in the room. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys." And we were like, "No, come in. You got to hear this."
Siti mag-CR
And
sa ako ti ha.
we
CR
threw
sa
this
ako ha.
line at him, and we
Mag-
kind
CR
of
sa
told
ako
him
ba?
the song that we were writing. And he was
Mag-CR
like,
sa
"Oh,
ako."
let me show you something.
Ah.
So we pulled out this big
Ah,
manuscript.
sige te, sige.
He'd been working on
okay, salamat
a
po.
TV episode for the
Bye-bye.
channel for Robert. Robert's our teaching pastor, obviously, here at church, and the whole episode was on this idea of winter and process and God in the waiting. And we were like, "Oh, it's so cool." And so to kind of add to that, Chris was talking to Robert later on that day, and he said, "We have this song. It's really cool. We're kind of on the same spiritual page. Like, I never thought that would ever happen with Robert." And he said, and he starts telling him about this sequoia line. And Robert's like, "Oh, that's amazing," because my whole episode is actually about sequoia trees and how the seed, like apparently with sequoia trees, the seed needs the harshness of winter to flourish into everything it becomes. And so in that moment, I was like, "Oh, okay, this has to stick," and this really feels like something God wants to share with people. So yeah, it's really, really cool.
That's actually a really cool story.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times with Christmas albums and projects, they can kind of feel like they're performances or whatever else, but it feels like this song would really fit naturally in a worship service.
Yeah.
What kind of role do you see it fulfilling, like on a Sunday in a church, for example?
Yeah, that's a really good thing to think about, because I think it's not necessarily your conventional song. The chord structure moves a little differently than normal. It's quite, like lyrically, it's got concepts like sequoia trees, things you're not necessarily used to hearing. But I think if you utilized it well as like a song 3, I think a few, like a good song at the top, to kind of get everyone engaged, either a praise song or something like This Is Amazing Grace, something like Up that'll get you in. And then again, like a strong song 2. And then I would place it as a song 3, almost like a bit of a moment, and let it be a moment for a little bit, and then hopefully the bridge kind of picks it back up, grabs everyone's attention, and then I think finishing with a strong song.
Benny, it's really interesting to me you mentioned the chord structure of that song. It's like there's a lot of material to kind of cover there. Nige, I'm interested to hear from you about your approach as a guitarist and a music director, about how you would kind of take the song, which on the album is this huge orchestral arrangement, and then, as we've heard here today, like bring it right back down to just a few instruments. Do you have any thoughts on how we could approach that?
Yeah, cool. Well, in this setting, as you see, there's about 6 instruments or so, and on the album it's fully produced with many different layers, and here it's quite stripped back. So I guess it's about building dynamics and journeying the song well. So with the acoustic guitar, well, firstly the song's originally in the key of C, and today we do it in A. With the guitars, both Benny and I are playing with the capo on the 2nd fret, with the G shape, and it starts off really chilled with Benny just picking it, and he actually carries that picking idea throughout the whole song. And then we add the layers with orts in the chorus and bringing in some glock and percussion and various other layers, and I'll come in later on just with some strumming and yeah. Do you want to talk through
the chorus?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So we so as Nigel said, we're in this G shape on the capo 2, and goes 4, which is the C, to the G, 6, E minor, to the 5, which is the D. We pass on the 3 this time. It's 3, which is to the 4, which is C, 6, 5. And then going into the chorus on that 3, C, though the E minor is C, then 1 to the G, E minor to the D. And that's kind of the chorus progression. And then in that bridge, we hammer on the 1 hey at the start.
Yeah.
So on that G, and then when it goes to the progression, it walks down on the D to the E minor, D, C, back up on the D that time, and when you're coming back to it, it walks down from the 1.
Yeah,
So,
cool. So he's playing that picking style throughout the song. I only come in on the turnaround after the first chorus, and I'm actually strumming just with just using all my hands, just strum with that. And I only pick up the pick on the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just that idea. Chords very simple. G shape, E minor, C, old school C with the 5th down the bottom, the D, and that's pretty much that idea throughout.
Awesome. Orts, would you mind talking to us quickly about how the chords and the movement and the musicality can support the song as a whole?
Yeah, one of the beautiful things about this song that Benny done such a great job is lyrically it's a bit of a masterpiece. And so I think our approach today, at least, was to just let the chords and the voicings support the lyrics. There's a beautiful melody happening and amazing lyrics. So we didn't overplay because I think it doesn't need it. So I think in your own churches, sometimes there can be this temptation to just overplay because we want the Spirit of Jesus to come. But I think if we understand that sometimes being more minimalist in our approach actually lets you hear the beautiful melody and lyrics that the guys have done. So that's what we did today. Hopefully it's a help.
It's awesome.
It's very cool. And you're right, Orts, the whole point is that people will take these songs and kind of play them in their churches, and really believing that this song that you guys have written becomes a declaration for a lot of people over this Christmas period, and God would use it in a powerful way, which is cool. Thank you guys for coming in today. It's been great having you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So much.
One, two, three, four.
Have you ever seen the wonder in the glimmer of first sight? As the eyes begin to open and the blindness meets the light. If you have so sick, I see the world in light. I see the world in wonder. I see the world
ba? Oh, kape, kape rin. Bagyan ng kape lang. Hindi ako mag-ilan.
Pasok na, pasok na.
Ano ba si Kuya?
Nag-iusip.